Hello and welcome to Champion Reviews. I'm Joe here with me is my co-host Dan.
Hello and greetings.
And don't forget to share and smash that subscribe button like Scorpion trying to smash Spider-Man to pieces. Now, the first of the two episodes we're reviewing is the Prowler. This is an interesting episode in terms of redemption. Because Hobie keeps screwing up his life. His girlfriend checks out of the relationship shortly after he does, given with his constant schemes with, what is the guy's name, Mr. Ice or whatever?
Iceberg.
Iceberg. I really liked him as a villain. And Prowler spent some time in prison, we find out in the episode, and ends up rescuing Richard Fisk. And as is always the case with the Fisks, no good deed ever goes unpunished. He's given the suit of the Prowler, but there's a nuke basically attached to it. And, of course, he gets jolts of pain every once in a while because Fisk wants to remind him who's in charge. So he then goes to Peter Parker to try to secure his help and that of Spider-Man. Now, Peter helps him as Peter Parker, given that he's a science genius. He figures out how to fix up the suit, but not disable the bomb. For that, he needs the actual computer that Fisk has. So, of course, they bust into Fisk's place, deactivate the bomb. Prowler saves them by bluffing their way out. Now, Spider-Man, on the other hand, took a shot for him that really wounded him because Fisk has some pretty good anti-meta and anti-mutant tech and equipment and weapons that could probably lay Wolverine into his grave.
Hence why the anti-Spider-Man tech.
Yep. And how do I put it? Now the episode is good, but I just wish it was 2 episodes. It felt rushed.
One thing that I noted is that Hobie was paid the best lawyers to get out. Richard Fisk could have had access to those lawyers, but he wasn't. He stayed in prison.
Well, for one thing, he's got the crime of treason on his head, which is a big one. On the other hand, Richard is using prison like it's a recruitment zone for future supervillains.
And he's pulling off a ton of plots for his father from prison.
Yeah, it's like those walls don't matter. And I get the feeling Prowler was more his scheme, using Landon's technology. But the thing is, the thing with Wilson is, like, him and Richard are really making this prison thing really seem like, what's the point of Richard being in prison if he could just treat it like it's just a summer home? Now, some of the inmates do try to kill him, mostly those in the employ of Silvermane, whom, well, his lackey, Smythe, shows up in the next episode to team up with Green Goblin to crash the Parker marriage, because, well, Harry busts out of prison, but has nothing better to do with his time, I guess, than to argue with his multiple personalities. He did do that a lot this episode. And to basically scheme to crash the wedding. Now, he rushes Smythe's work after agreeing to give away Oscorp to Silvermane, or at least the daily running of the place. But it basically gives Silvermane all of Oscorp. Now, that said, Oscorp seems to have been rebuilt by Fisk. So, yeah, this would have been a real big pain for Fisk, given how he invested so much money in rebuilding the joint, only for it to produce weapons to fight him. Now, that said, Smythe does not join in with the actual operation, and he doesn't get why this is so important for Harry, but, well, when you're dealing with a psychopath, you don't really ask too many questions. Now, Scorpion helps crash the wedding, having previously tried to steal the wedding bands of the Parkers from, well, Aunt May, and having made her faint.
She lasted longer than what she would have in the comics.
Yeah, that's true. And, yeah, the marriage, Harry thinks he can force the priest into marrying him to MJ. But the priest passes out. Then Harry wakes him up. Spider-Man by then has shown up inside, and there's a clash of wills, and then Liz shows up to try and pull at Harry's better side. Now, it works, but it's very heavily implied this won't last forever because Harry is utterly freaking insane. His multiple personalities are causing him massive problems.
Yes, and even
And he has Kafka as a psychiatrist, as his therapist. That just guarantees already he's going to give in to even more evil, given her track record.
He really should employ the alternative psychologist, Dr. Quinzel.
Yeah, she couldn't screw Harry up half as much as Kafka does. I mean, look how she screwed up Eddie and Cletus Cassidy.
And even if you don't consider the multiple personality theory, Harry's still nutty as a fruitcake.
Yeah, you ought to have a decent therapist. Maybe a Charles Xavier. I mean, he's right uptown. Like,
why not employ
Herbert Landon
or Logan?
Yeah, Logan could improve his health a lot. He would solve his mental health problems permanently. Oh, what's also interesting to note is that Deborah and Flash are now dating. Deborah's put all the trauma of Morbius and his manipulations and psychological rape behind her. But she does get a little short with Flash when he takes her to safety when Green Goblin attacks, but then goes to worry about Felicia. But Deborah loses her temper and pulls him aside,
saying no.
But because the thing is, right before the wedding, Felicia showed up to flirt outrageously with Flash, kiss him on the cheek. And it's like, I thought you wanted Morbius. So she's not in love with Morbius. But then she flirts with Spider-Man, hinting that she wants him again. So it looks like it's not just Harry who has multiple personality disorder. And it looks like the Felicia personality is degenerating. And because she had put all the flirtations, all the nonsense behind her, and it was growing up. She was growing out of her childhood immaturity, but she's back to that. And here's the thing: I can't help but wonder if maybe her personality is degenerating, and Black Cat is overtaking her personality, and that one day Black Cat will overcome the Felicia personality, and I'm going to say this. I think of the Felicia personality as the good side. And that this is classic Mr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde, I think it is. And the sad thing is Felicia... Fisk offers Black Cat a job at the end of the episode. And she kicks him away after hesitating for a moment. But it's that brief moment of hesitation that has me thinking, okay, where's Black Cat going?
I didn't think there was hesitation there. She listened to him and then pretty much kicked him.
Then why not kick him beforehand? That's the hesitation I'm referring to.
I'm just thinking it was dramatic cartoon editing.
Yeah, it was, but I mean internally, in universe. I just mean she says I love you to Morbius. Then she flirts with Spider-Man weeks later. She wants to sleep with Flash as well. Black Cat is not stable. She needs help. But the sad thing is, in universe, she never gets it. And I wonder if maybe she's going down a dark path in that universe in the future one day. And Spider-Man may have to take her down. And
hopefully she doesn't become a lawyer.
Yeah, you're referring to She-Hulk.
Yes, Black Cat in here is nowhere near as nutty as She-Hulk.
She-Hulk is basically the cause of all Daredevil, half the causes of Daredevil and Spider-Man's woes, given how often she defends criminals. I don't mind her defending criminals, but when you're defending people who work for Fisk...
and who have been essentially confirmed in the superhero community as
vile
supervillains, that essentially...
And Daredevil always tells her, don't defend this guy, don't defend this guy, don't defend this guy. And every time he says, don't defend this one guy, she says, oh, well, that's just a motivation to go defend him then. The difference is she is corrupt. She's not actually a superheroine. She's a supervillain masquerading as a heroine. And I would classify as one of the best rogues Daredevil has. And Daredevil, sadly, is out-muscled and outgunned with her. Not to mention, if he does go to put her behind bars, he has to deal with all the Avengers who'd throw themselves into a tizzy over it. Because, like, you look at the way she treated the Speedball, I think it is, right?
Speedball,
like in Civil War. But you even look at pre-97, the way she treated a lot of criminals, and even some, like, heck, she was on, I think, the Avengers team that helped steal Tony's fortune, get him declared to be a national criminal, and nearly tried to kill him. Now, it was Black Widow leading that team, and that just goes to show the kind of supervillainess she is. And Tony had to fight tooth and nail to reclaim his family fortune and his company. Now, here's the difference between these Avengers and let's say Rumiko Fujikawa. Rumiko had good reason to screw over Tony. But when the push came to shove, she was the first one alongside Rhodey to rush back in to defend him and help save his life and restore him to glory, so to speak.
She handed everything that she had back to him.
And would have walked out of his life forever if he had wanted. And he was the one who stopped her and said, no, I screwed you over. I cheated on you. I humiliated you. I used you and threw you away. I even risked your life because I didn't care about your life. You know what? I owe you. I still owe you. You're a good woman. Now, the difference is She-Hulk has no good in her. But hell, I find Smythe in the series more sympathetic, despite working for Silvermane and previously Kingpin, than I do She-Hulk in the comics.
And the Black Cat persona, it's like she won't go as far as She-Hulk.
Well, yeah, I'm just wondering if she one day will go far, because she's bouncing between the three guys, and I know that's not indicative of criminality, but how many times does she attack Spider-Man just to play with him? She does risk his life sometimes for sport.
And here
she didn't. Now she did do the right thing in this episode. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, on the other hand, she's technically claiming that she's all but common law married with Morbius, while she's going off to try and ask out Spider-Man and Flash Thompson. Now, on a personal level, she's kind of scum. On a professional level, I'm just saying it's worrisome when she ends up basically every once in a while attacking Spider-Man just to play with him. It's like, you don't need to kick him off a building to get his attention. That's a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
I'm griping. I like the character. It's just, I like the character in the comics pre-97, where she's hilarious, she's funny, and she was a dynamic character.
They needed to work to transition her a bit more to that one.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't mind aspects of how spunky she is. It's like how eventually...
That's fine.
But she needs to be more consistent with
her morals and whose side she's on, as well as, like, on a personal level, who she's banging. That said, like, later on in the series, she ends up really tearing into Spider-Man a few more times. So it's like, ugh. Now, I'm just saying that the whole personality issue, like, the consistency is not there with her. Now, not that I'd want to bang Morbius. Heaven knows what he did to Deborah. But I'm not saying I want her to be faithful to Morbius. I'm just saying it's like there's something off here. Like, and the writing is too damn good for it to just be a coinkydink. I sincerely think they were genuinely going with a future storyline for Super Soldier Degeneration, but they were probably going to have it fixed eventually, and Felicia was going to be the main personality. Now, I think that they were hinting at Black Cat possibly going foul, and that personality needing to be neutralized by, well, science, and thanks to Connors, Spider-Man, and Felicia herself. That's kind of how I look at it.
Because of all the guys that she dug, the one that probably would have been best for her might have been Captain America.
Or Flash Thompson.
But that ship sunk.
Well, I don't see her with Cap, but you got to bear in mind, she only flirts with him when he actually wants to start a hero civil war against Spider-Man a few times in that episode.
Yeah.
Because he's full on bigger stick measuring contest with Spider-Man. It's like, time and place, moron.
Yeah, but Flash Thompson aside, and even Spider-Man aside.
Well, there's maybe Herbert Landon. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I couldn't resist that.
I mean, let's traumatize her a bit more. That won't hurt.
Yeah. Or there's Puma.
Or Puma.
Or Prowler in the series. Hey, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Like, literally any other guys than the ones she's going for. Yeah, enough. I'm nitpicky with her, but it's just, I truly think there's a personality problem with her. And I do think she's headed towards a climax there between these personalities. I think they're going to have her, juxtapose her in opposition to Harry, where Harry worsens and she ends up healing herself. And that's part of her heroine journey.
It is consistent with one other thing that hasn't been addressed yet. Wilson Fisk and Herbert Landon.
They just let her go.
Exactly.
They don't just let people go. And Fisk was just, when Fisk said, why don't you come work for me again? Now, he said it so smugly and like he knew something she didn't. And she let him finish before she kicked him, and he was still smirking when she did that. Like he knew there was something she wasn't in on. That's my point with that scene.
Yes. When you, after thinking about it, I see your point.
There had to be another clash coming. And honestly, like I said, I think Felicia would have overcome that personality and would have consistently been great afterwards. And hey, I'm not coming at this from a Felicia Hardy hater. I actually love her in the comics. She's one of my favorite superheroines, and from pre-97.
And as seen in the episode The Prowler, it'd be consistent with those two.
Yeah, with redemption as the storyline.
Not just as redemption of the storyline, but when it comes to Wilson Fisk and Herbert Landon.
Oh yeah, with Prowler, yeah, they always have a scheme.
They always have a scheme, and they always have
a trump card.
Yeah.
They rig the deck. It's all aces and jokers with them.
And then when they go to deliver it to you, it's just random
fives and sixes and threes. Anyways, tell us what you thought of these two episodes. Maybe I'm crazy. Am I reading too much into Black Cat, into Landon, into Fisk, and whatnot? I really like where this could have gone, because I think it could have made Felicia a much more triumphant heroine and cut the ties between her and Morbius. Although I do think the thing with her constantly flirting with Flash, it's like, stop. Because at this point, like, that ship has sunk and been burnt with fireworks, explosives, and whatnot. And on that point, why don't you detonate that subscribe button like the Joker tried to do to those two ships, or smash it like the Mega Slayer did some of those robots and Scorpion. And don't forget to like and comment. And to stick around for our next video.